बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। माफ़ करना, मैं आहिस्ता बात करती हूँ। अगर आप चाहते हैं कि ये वीडियो तेज़ी से प्ले हो तो दाईं तरफ एक सेटिंग्स का बटन है। अगर आप उस बटन को दबाएं तो फिर आप स्पीड बदल सकते हैं। Should unite with President Assad and Russia. I'm going to basically try to answer this in these slides. Now then, I do believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on the side of President Assad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has supported and protected President Assad for many years, even though Western Shaitani Khanzir have tried to attack him and destroy his country. The Western Shaitani Khanzir try to play the divide and conquer card and get Sunnis to fight against him. They kill people themselves and display their own massacres, blaming President Assad and Russia. Be very clear about this. Be very clear about what they do. Now, I've got a picture of a news report. I can't remember the year and the writing's too small to read it, but President Assad has no place in the future of Syria. This is what David Cameron insisted, but Alhamdulillah, Allah is the ultimate planner, and pathetic David Cameron, shame on him. He was a Shaitani Khanzir snake, and he got kicked out of his own prime ministerial duties as the leader of the UK because people voted Brexit. And so I do think the Satanists that run the show kicked him out, saying that, you know, perhaps he was incompetent, and he was forced to resign. So shame on you, Cameron, because President Assad is still standing and you're not. You are a pathetic nobody. Now, I do believe that Turkey and Saudi Arabia leadership have been threatened by the Shaitani Khanzir, and they are forced to be the mouthpiece of the West. Because, you know, sometimes when I used to listen to Erdogan's speeches, what he would say was exactly what I heard from the despicable mouths of Western leadership, and it used to make my stomach turn. I do find when something is really not right, it makes me want to be sick whenever Western leaders are speaking, and you know, their lies, they make my stomach turn. I'm really allergic to listening to their lies. So be no doubt that they do become the mouthpiece of the West, Shaitani Khanzir, and say things against President Assad because they are afraid that what happened to Saddam Hussein and what happened to Gaddafi, God bless them and forgive them, will happen to them. I do pray Allah strengthens their hearts and they're able to stand against Yajuj, Majuj, Shaitani Khanzir, Western Dajjali leadership. Now, how do I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on the side of President Assad? Well, as I've shown in my previous slide, pathetic Cameron's been kicked out and President Assad is still there. But I'm also going to tell you a little story that happened to me. Now, once I was asking this now I put Muslim in quotes because some of us are labelled Muslims when we're not. So I was asking this Muslim man whose child had kicked a ball and damaged my car to pay for the damage. It was only about £100 worth of damage, and you know, he refused even though his child damaged my car. Now, if it had happened to me, God willing, I would have paid for the damage, because what is wrong and justice must be done. Now, it was Ramadan, and when he refused, I told him that Allah is witness and justice is always done, even though he might not truly believe in God, because men of his generation generally don't and didn't. My uncle's generation, they really were brainwashed by the Western gutter elite, by the British Raj, and deep down a lot of them do not believe in God. So when I said those words, his daughter, who's around 25, maybe a bit older, between 25 and 30, I would say, started shouting at me, saying, "Don't talk to my father like that, or I'll punch you in the face, Ramadan or no Ramadan." So that's what she shouted at me, that she'd punch me in the face whether it was Ramadan or not, for talking about her father. Now, I was only trying to encourage her father to do justice, but I felt really terrible and low at what she'd said, and I looked up into the heavens and prayed to Allah that who is there to defend me like this? You know, she's jumped to the defense of her father. Who is there to defend me like this? Now, the next second, my daughter jumped out of my car and started shouting back, saying, "What sort of disrespect is this? And the woman shouldn't be talking to a mature mother like that," and threatening an older woman violence. So, and I actually had to hold her back from going forward and, you know, being really aggressive with the daughter. But, you know, after the event, I was like laughing and saying Alhamdulillah, that I had totally forgotten about my daughter being in the car. But I did feel that Allah had sent me support, because I didn't even know that she could hear what was going on. So when I started hearing all the Western rhetoric against President Assad, I knew he was on the hit list, the way Saddam was and the way Gaddafi was. And I had been to Syria during a convoy to Palestine. We'd taken aid to Palestine, and we had travelled through Syria, and God bless Assad and his people. They were so lovely to us. They had taken good care of the people on the convoy. So I was actually really distressed, and here's a picture of Obama, the useless Shaitani Khanzir, giving a speech against President Assad. Now again, this Shaitani Khanzir mutation was making threats, and he's bitten the dust before President Assad, Alhamdulillah. So shame on them all. and Allah will give them greater shame in hellfire. Wait till they reach there. So poor President Assad was being denounced by some shit on the shoe called Obama and another white shit on the shoe called Cameron, saying that President Assad must go, and they were all joining forces against him. And I used to listen, and still do now and again, to Harun Yahya, and he was not helping President Assad, and saying that President Assad had asked Turkey for help, but they weren't helping. And neither did Pakistan help him. I heard he was asking help from Pakistan. And I remember becoming quite distressed about it again, and in this situation, and asking Allah who will help him. And Alhamdulillah, the next information I was receiving was that Russia was supporting Syria. Even though I'd forgotten the car damage incident, I remembered it again once I found out that Russia was supporting President Assad, because I realized that Allah had shown me a sign again that President Assad was receiving help from Allah. I felt these were quite parallel situations, and I knew the first time that the help had come from Allah, and I knew this time that President Assad got help from Allah. And here I've got a picture of Harun Yahya giving one of his speeches, saying quite a strange thing. Some people think that he's trying to appear as the Imam Mahdi, and you know, he's got a lot of good things to say, but I think his stance on President Assad was not an independent stance. He was quite confused, and he kept saying, you know, that President Assad needs to love the Mahdi and await the Mahdi, and but I don't know, maybe one man's Mahdi is another man's Dajjal. To me, the West is Dajjal, and Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and I've done videos to suggest this, so I wasn't sure, you know, about what he was saying. Just help fellow believers, that's all you need to do. No need to badmouth them that they're this faction or that faction, otherwise the punishment of Allah will come to you. And I just think, as I said, I don't like to judge, but you know, Harun Yahya, he sits with women who look like transgender men, and then he's telling President Assad to love the Mahdi. Inshallah, we all love the Mahdi. We all love true guidance, and we, you know, Allah gives us guidance and support, and we should always be on the side of good, not evil. And believe you me, I live in the West. I'm trying to escape from this evil place that I live in, and I pray that Allah supports me to escape, but I do feel that Allah has trapped me here to a certain extent, and the time of my escape is with Allah. He will know when I'm able to leave. So as usual, I pray Allah guides you, protects you and gives you peace. I pray Allah guides the Satanist, Antichrist and the devil to the straight path. May the ultimate success be that all creation unite for truth and justice. And may humans realize that they are not wiser than Allah and they cannot judge his actions. Again, may Allah guide us all, protect us all, and make the children be a source of peace for the parents, and the parents be a source of peace for the children. And please Allah make me a source of peace for all, and may I achieve martyrdom defending the vulnerable. Allah Hafiz and Allahu Akbar.